All right, we have learned about Day of the Dead and the Latino culture of sugar skulls. We are going to create a symmetrical sugar skull design. You're going to choose two big pieces of paper, a dark and a light, and you're also going to choose 3 other colors. So today we're going to do this first part together. To make these symmetrical, we're going to take one of our papers and fold it in half vertically. And then we are going to draw the bottom part, and again, we're doing this together, these little bumps. It's kind of like the neck bone. And then we're going to draw the top part, kind of like a light bulb shape, coming down. Once you cut that out, it will be symmetrical. Now, sometimes I like to just cut out these shapes kind of separately and then go back and make them a little bit more even. When you cut things out, make sure you're going slowly so you are careful and you are paying attention to what you're doing. Once I have this cut out, you'll see how it looks symmetrical. So now I have the sugar skull shape, and my second paper that's a lighter color, I'm going to put that on top. Now if I decide I kind of want a different shape, I might go back and fold it. I got a little less light bulby, but that looks pretty good. So once you get that glued on, you're going to use your other 3 shapes, and I'm going to show you kind of how to create the symmetrical design with those. Okay, so now I've glued this on. You can leave a little bit of space showing through there if you want, or you can make them connected. This one I left a little bit of space showing. That's going to be kind of your decision. When you create the eyes, you are going to take one piece of paper. When you create something symmetrical, you fold it in half. So you have the same on both sides. You can draw kind of a flower shape if you'd like. I like to draw this kind of ice cream shape for the nose as well. And that needs to be on the fold. So you can see that's right on the fold like that, so that when I cut it out, it's a heart. This is going to be for my eye. All right, so I cut out the eyes. Now I'm going to cut out the nose. Again, that sort of flat side needs to be on the fold. So when you cut that part out and you open it up, it's a heart. Remember, it's going to kind of look like this when you cut it out. So you open it up and it's that symmetrical shape. The heart is usually the upside down on your paper. My flowers I cut out, now they're symmetrical, so I can put those on my paper, and I kind of try to make them, I didn't make my flower exactly the same, but I'm going to try to position it on my paper so that they're symmetrical. You can kind of see now they're symmetrical. And that's going to be your start. Now all the other colors, you're going to think about how you use those. If you want to have kind of, this is a darker blue, so I might decide that I want to have a lighter color mouth rather than on this one. I used kind of this darker black, but this one I might choose to use the pink for the mouth or even the eyes. I can cut off, there's lots of scraps that you can use. So if I cut off just a smaller piece and I fold it in half for the circles, you might want to draw a circle first before you cut it out. And I cut both of the circles out at the same time. I think these might be too big. They cover up a little bit too much of my flower. So I'm going to put those back together, make that a little bit smaller so that I see most of my yellow flower on top. And that's looking kind of cool. I do want to show you how I did the mouth, and then you're going to keep working on this as we keep thinking of ideas. Okay, so the mouth I just cut off a strip like that, and that's a little bit too big. So I'm going to kind of try to position it so I can see how big I want it. That's about the right size. So now I'm going to take this, and I want it to be symmetrical. So I'm going to fold this in half like that. And then I'm going to try to draw on one side kind of a castle line. Kind of looks like an H. You can kind of see that. And then when I cut that out, it should be symmetrical on both sides. And if it's not, that's fine. Mine didn't work out symmetrically but this is a little bit tricky to cut out. Again, just take your time with your cutting. All these little scrap papers, you might want to save those. You never know what you can use later on. Okay, so I'm almost done with this. Kind of excited to see what it looks like when it's finished. So now I haven't glued any of this down. I have this, and when I open it up, it's going to be symmetrical. And that looks pretty cool. So I'm going to probably glue that down. It's nice colors, all of the other details. Like I might make a smaller heart to put on top of that. And a lot of these scraps, like this one I have is a scrap, I can use the other side of this. So if you're really careful with your scraps and not wasting paper, you'll be able to use a lot of those scraps over and over again. So I'm just using the same shape that I already cut out for the nose. So I have that already created. And then I'm just going to try to make it smaller. I'm going to cut another nose so I can overlap that. Overlapping some of your shapes are going to just make them look interesting, kind of like that. And then I'm thinking about this. This is kind of a neat heart. I might put that maybe there, but I can't see it on the black very well. So I'm going to think about maybe using some of my scraps to create, I have an idea for this. Kind of an interesting shape for the top of the head to make that heart stand out. I haven't glued any of that down, so I'm kind of rearranging that. So as you keep working, you'll keep coming up with those ideas, and then hopefully we will work on these for a couple days.